Hello everyone, welcome to Quantum Guruji. So today in this video we are going to learn about the energy decomposition analysis, also known as EDA analysis. So majorly there are several methods to do this, and we'll be using majorly the Gaussian and the calculation based on Gaussian, and along with Gaussian we'll be using this multi-wave function tool to this EDA analysis. So if you want to go in detail about the EDA, like how it works and what is the formulas, all those things, you can go to the multi-wave function manual, and there you will get this section 3.24 as energy decomposition analysis. Here you will get the theory portion. If you want to go in the deep of this, you can see all those things over here, the formula, the Coulombic ripple interaction formula, the Coulombic formulas, and all kind of interactions you will get over here. Okay, so but we are not interested in the all these things. We are mainly interested in the calculations, the input file, and the analysis of all those that, and what is the use of all this. Okay, so there are generally three methods given in this multi-wave function tool. If I show you, okay, so here you can see there are three methods: EDA by using force field method, and then Subin leave energy decomposition analysis, Sobera EDA, and Sobera EDAW energy decomposition analysis. So the best analysis will be this one, the Subin-Lewis energy decomposition analysis. This analysis requires the output file from Gaussian, and that will be using for the EDA analysis. So that will give you better results as compared to this force field method. You know, this force field based method will be that may not be that much reliable, but in case of when you are working with polymers, this proteins and all those cases, you can try using all this. Okay, so mainly we'll be using this Subin-Lewis energy decomposition method. Okay, so coming to the process, so for our understanding, what molecule I have taken is, so here you can see in the slide, this is the molecule of interest that I have taken over here. Okay, so here they are the conformal isomer of this thiazole molecule. Okay, so here this oxygen, this carbonyl group is in towards sulfur, and here it is other way around. Okay, so based on the theoretical calculation, what I have found is this isomer where the oxygen and sulfur are on the same side, that is more preferred by 4.53 kcal as compared to this one. Okay, and so we try to like discuss the relative energy or the stability of these two isomers based on whatever the literature data we are having and whatever the calculated data we are having. But it was not easy to assign this small, just 4.53 kcal energy difference. So there are several factors which is working here for the stability of this isomer. So if you just see the known bonding distance between the sulfur and oxygen, what you observe, it is around 3.108, and here it is 2.908. If we just add the van der Waals radius of nitrogen and oxygen, so for van der Waals radius of oxygen is around 1.52. So here for oxygen it is 1.52, and for sulfur it is around 1.80. So if we add for sulfur and oxygen, it will be around 3 it will be around 3.2 something, right? So if you see this 3.10, it is slightly below that, and in this case where the nitrogen and oxygen, so for nitrogen it is 1.55 and oxygen it is 1.52. We sum up this one, so it comes up around 1.31 something, right? 7 and 1.317. So that is in angstrom. Okay, so when we sum up these both of these, so we'll be getting a 3.17 here, and which is also slightly lower than the van der Waals distance. Means they will be creating some sort of repulsion here also and here also. So based on that, like we cannot talk about the the relative stability. Even if you see this CC bond, here it is 1.474, it is slightly elongated, so probably because of this, due to releasing of this strain. So these things were not helping to explain. So what we did, I have calculated the NBO charges. So in this black color thing, you see these are the NBO charges for each atoms over here. Okay, and in the blue color you see the bond length. So if you see, so here I have given the pictorial diagram, representative diagram for this group alone. This group alone. So you are having this nitrogen, sulfur, this CC, this nitrogen I took it up. So if you see the nitrogen has a negative charge here. So I have taken a partial negative charge over here. Sulfur is having positive charge, positive. This carbon is having negative charge, and this carbon is having positive charge. Okay, and this oxygen is having a negative charge, and this hydrogen is having positive charge. So what we have observed that if you see negative and negative, positive and positive, so I am expecting there should be some electrostatic repulsion coming up over here. While in this isomer what you see is sulfur with positive, oxygen with negative charges, hydrogen with positive charge, and nitrogen with negative charge. So here the negative, positive, negative, they are the attractive interaction, Coulombic attractive interaction. So I am guessing that electrostatic interaction may be playing a role in the stability of this kind of molecule. Just to confirm this, initially I performed this non-covalent interaction calculation, and there I saw some of the the blue, this green red region over here between this oxygen and sulfur. It was not totally green, it was not totally red also, so it was like there was attraction and repulsion, both was there. Similarly between nitrogen and oxygen also I found some red region here and the green as well. Even though if you see this in the attractive interval region, there is slightly peak up over here that talks about the non-covalent interaction also plays a role. So that is a very small amount of that. Then I have calculated the electrostatic energy between this carbonyl group and this 5-member ring. So for the isomer A it was 1.24 in minus, and for B it was 0.63. So lower the interaction energy, the electrostatic interaction energy, higher will be the stability. So this was confirmed through this electrostatic energy calculation. So I have just performed the electrostatic energy calculation. In multi-wave function there is a way to do this. If you want to know how to do this, so I will put the link of the video in the description, you can just check it out. And other than this, I also try to do the EDA analysis of this, both of this molecule, when we use Gaussian and multi-wave function, how it. The first step is we need to optimize the geometry of your choice of your molecule. So what I have done is that molecules, that two isomers, I have optimized the geometry at decent level of theory. And once we perform the geometry optimization, we need to take the optimized geometric coordinate, then we need to perform another single point calculation for EDA analysis. So this is the the general input for EDA analysis. So here this is the path for checkpoint file, memory that I'm using, processor that I'm using. So here right now I'm using B3lib and the basis set this one, and this keyword you need to put for EDA analysis, that is the extra links equals to link, L stand for link 608. Okay, once you give this, then there will be a blank space followed by the name of your molecule, blank space, then charge and multiplicity of your molecule followed by the coordinates of your molecule, then empty space, and then you need to put -5 over here. So what is this -5 here? This -5 talks about the IOP, this 3/74. So for B3lib it is -5. So how do we know this? So if I go and show you, okay, so now we come to this overlay here. So at this page I will give you the link of this page over here in the description below, you can just check it out. So this overlay 3 here, we will as I have told that 3/74. So 3/74, this one. So in the 3/74, so these are the level of theory, that the functional, and these are that value. Suppose I am you want to use some this functional, this DFT D3 functional, you have to use -59. So now we have used -5. I will show you what is that -5 here. So that is B3lib, Beck3 parameter using LYP. So that is B3lib. So for B3lib that value is -5. Okay, and you can get details about these extra links over here, and I will give you this link in the description below. You just check it out. Okay, so now you understood what is this -5 that comes from this IOP. Okay, now this is the just a single point calculation. It won't take huge time. Once you have performed and you are having the, what we need is, we need the checkpoint file for this single point calculation and the output file from this single point calculation. The two file we need, and that's all. Now we'll do the live demonstration. For that, I will go and open the multi-wave function tool here, and here we need to drag that. So here you see, this is the less stable isomer, this is the formatted check file, and this is the most stable isomer, the formatted checkpoint file. So I will take this formatted checkpoint file. So here this is the optimized geometry, and these are the single point calculation output file for EDA and the checkpoint file for EDA. Okay, so I will take this checkpoint file, formatted checkpoint file for EDA calculation, that is the based on the single point calculation. Drag this and just put it here in this multi-wave function tool. Press enter, and now here we need to do for energy decomposition analysis, that is 21. Press 21 and just give enter, and here we are going to do this using Steuben's energy decomposition analysis. Okay, where Gaussian is needed. Press 2. Now it will ask for the output file path. Okay, so what we need to do is simple. This is the output file for that single point calculation. Using that extra link, we'll drag this output file and put it here. Press enter. It will take just a few seconds, and you will get an output with your EDA results. Okay, now you see, this is the output for your EDA calculation. There you see, you are having the electronic kinetic energy. This is the energy, all kind of energy you are having here, and then you are having this EDA SBL energy decomposition terms, the E static, E electrostatic, and E quantum, and this is the E total. This you can copy and just paste it in your file, and that you can use for analysis. That I have copy pasted here for both isomer, and here important for the stability of this isomer. So this is the way you can do the EDA analysis for any molecule, and this is the way you can distinguish between the stability of your system when this kind of situation occurs to you. If you have any doubt pertaining to this video, you can put in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.